Good morning, everyone. My name's Alicia Privatera, and I'm the new Rail Europe BDM in Victoria, South Australia and Tasmania. I look forward to meeting those of you in those states over the coming months. Today we have Ben Gorman from Rocky Mountaineer to host our Rocky Mountaineer webinar for the month of June. Thanks, Ben.
Hello everyone, I hope your morning is going well. So what I'll be doing today is I'll be taking you through a brief product update for 2020, and I'll also be going through our promotions that we've got with Rail Europe going forward for the 2020 season as well. But first and foremost, it is our 30th year in operation. So we did start back in 1990 as a privately owned company, and in 2020 will be our 30th year of making life-changing memories for our clients. So you'll be able to see this throughout the 2020 travel season that we'll be promoting this out in the market. With Rocky Mountaineer, we do have 4 different journeys that you can choose from. Making note that you can do it in either direction, which makes it really easy for you to design these itineraries for your clients, whether they start on the East or on the West Coast. The first one I'd like to highlight would be First Passage to the West. This is our most popular route. Starting in Vancouver, you'll make your way through to Kamloops, where you'll stay overnight in a hotel. Next day, you'll board the train again, and you'll make your way through into the Canadian Rockies, finishing in Lake Louise or Banff. On this itinerary, some highlights would be the spiral tunnels, which was an engineering marvel back in the day. The second journey, and the second most popular, would be Journey Through the Clouds. Now this is the blue line there, going from Vancouver into Kamloops again, where you'll stay overnight in a comfortable hotel. The next day you'll board the train and you'll make your way up to Jasper. I highly recommend this itinerary if your clients want to tick off Lake Louise, Banff, Calgary and Jasper at the one time. We also have Rainforest to Gold Rush. Now this is a 3-day journey. From Vancouver, you'll do a half day to Whistler. We have some free time to explore that village there. The next day, you'll board the train and you'll go up to Quesnel, which you'll see some contrasting landscape from the lush rainforest to a drier part of British Columbia. From Quesnel, you'll then make your way into Jasper on the 3rd day, where you'll disembark the train. Our final train journey that we have for you is Coastal Passage. Now this one starts or ends in Seattle. This itinerary is here because some of our cruise partners start in Seattle for the Inside Passage. There are limited departures for this journey, but ideal for customers that are finishing or starting in Seattle to make their way into the Canadian Rockies. I'd like to give you a bit of an idea of what it's like to be on board Rocky Mountaineer, and I'll talk about it from my own personal experience. So my first Rocky Mountaineer train journey was in September last year. Bright and early in the morning, I made my way downstairs into the hotel lobby, where I boarded the coach and made my way to the Rocky Mountaineer train station. As I walked through the doors, a grand piano was playing. There was an exciting buzz through the air as the Rocky Mountaineer team were handing out orange juice, tea and coffee as we were all excited and ready to board our train. Now there was a big announcement where we blew the whistle, and that's when the call came to all aboard. Just one moment. Alrighty, back here again, guys. Sorry about that technical difficulty. So what happens when you're at the station, that all aboard is announced, and then you make your way onto your train carriage, whether that's Silverleaf or Goldleaf. And as soon as you get on board and the train starts to move, there'll be a toast where the onboard host will go down and cheers every single passenger. Throughout the journey, you'll be fed 24/7. You have a pre-breakfast before you have breakfast. You have a pre-lunch before you have lunch. So you are not going to go hungry on board Rocky Mountaineer. And all the while, all your drinks are included. All you need to do then is sit back and enjoy the scenery outside your large oversized windows or your panoramic windows in Gold Leaf as the onboard hosts tell you engaging stories of the scenery as you're passing by, ending up in your destination that evening. We do have two service levels. Now, first I'm going to talk about Silverleaf. Silverleaf is in a single leveled coach. You'll be able to see here that there's large oversized windows and you still have windows on the curvature of the carriage. Looking at the next slide here, I think it gives you a great perspective of how open the Silverleaf carriage is, and also that you will not miss any of the scenery outside the window in those large oversized windows on the side. You still have all your meals and drinks included on Silverleaf service. And as you'll notice, you've got glassware and crockery. You will be plated at your seat, but you still have meals such as Alberta beef and salmon to choose from. The food is absolutely phenomenal. And when I was on Silverleaf, I absolutely enjoyed every moment on board. But we are most famous for our Gold Leaf service. This is where your clients will truly experience the Canadian Rockies in style. To give you an idea of how you talk about Gold Leaf, there are three things to highlight. Is the panoramic windows that you have on the level 2 of the Gold Leaf carriage. So on Gold Leaf, you do have two levels with your dining room downstairs and your seating upstairs. When you're seated in Gold Leaf, whether on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, you'll be able to see absolutely everything above, to your left and to your right with those panoramic windows. The other thing to highlight will be the dining service. So you actually make your way downstairs to have your meal. You will be presented with an a la carte menu. We have a wide selection of meals to choose from. All the while, you'll have drinks poured at your table for you, from Baileys, wine, spirits, beer, soft drink, everything you can imagine. Once you've chosen your meal off the menu, it will then be taken to our culinary kitchen on board the Gold Leaf carriage. This is where the culinary team will create this wonderful cuisine for you, bringing out fresh to your table. I can highly recommend the Eggs Benedict if you are on board our Gold Leaf service. But what is really exciting about our Gold Leaf carriage, and for me, the highlight, would be the outdoor viewing platform. This is where your clients can go outside, breathe in the fresh Canadian air, and also take photos without the glass in front of their camera. For me, this truly gives an all-rounded experience throughout the Canadian Rockies. To give you an idea of what the train carriage looks like, and I think this is a great slide to show you the perspective of how high you'll be seated. Off to the right-hand side, you'll be able to see the Silverleaf carriage, which is almost like you're seated on the roof of Silverleaf when you're in Gold Leaf. So you do have those elevated views, and especially when you're going past some of those freight trains, you can see over the top. So I would highly recommend that. This will give you an idea of what it's like to be on board our Gold Leaf service. The windows going right up over the top, where you'll be able to see all the scenery outside the window. And for those foodies out there, they will definitely not be disappointed by the culinary delights on board. You have breakfast and you have lunch. And as I mentioned before, you do have in-between meals as well. I never ever eat when I get to Kamloops at night because I'm completely full from the constant food all day. You even get oatmeal cookies at 4 p.m. The outdoor viewing platform though, for me, this is the true highlight. I was out there for an hour and a half and I only had 5 people come out there in that time. I could spend the entire journey out there, seeing the scenery, breathing in the fresh air, and feeling a part of the Canadian Rockies. To give you an idea of our hotels, you'll see here some of our Gold Leaf hotels that you can choose from. Now we do have Silverleaf hotels and Gold Leaf hotels, but it is up to you what hotels you want to put into your itinerary. And the lovely team at the Great Train Journeys contact center here will be able to organize all of that for you. Simply let them know what you would like and they'll be able to place in the perfect hotels for your clients. But the biggest question I am always asked, when is the best time of year to travel? And I think this is something that a lot of people wonder, especially going to the Canadian Rockies. Each season will have its own unique landscape, and I think it's very important to qualify your clients to find out what are their expectations of the Canadian Rockies and what do they want to see. First and foremost, the bears will always come up. Now, across all of our seasons, which we travel, which is from April through to October, the bears are active. There are unique reasons why they would be more active in certain times. For example, coming out in spring, they've just come out in hibernation, so they're very active trying to find food. And in September time, when we have the salmon run, they're drawn to those rivers for the plentiful of salmon to eat. But I always bring it back to the landscape because I think that is something that you can guarantee. So in the springtime, and I was there in April just gone, I was standing in the middle of Lake Louise and it was completely frozen over. It was like a winter wonderland. I loved it because there was less crowds and it felt a little bit more personal in these areas. But you do need to make note that it is still a winter wonderland. At one point, it was completely snowing and the visibility was a little bit low. So if you've got clients who don't like the cold and they want to see Lake Louise in all its glory, I wouldn't be putting them on a train journey that's starting April or May. Summertime is the most popular month to travel, and rightly so. Everything is in full bloom. The temperatures are perfect around about the 25 to 28 degree in the Canadian Rockies there. Perfect for hiking through this region. But you do need to make note that in the summertime, there are a lot of people, especially in the North American school holidays, and sometimes can be a little bit more expensive. So it is important to note that if your clients don't like the crowds, then definitely don't put them in the summertime. But my favorite is autumn. Autumn is my favorite time of year. I could be a little bit biased because it was my first journey I did, but for me, there's less crowds. The salmon run that happens. A story from when I was on board the train myself. We're traveling in September, around about the 10th or the 13th of September, and all of a sudden the train slowed down to almost a snail's pace. And our onboard host told us all to look out to the right-hand side. And as I looked out into that river, it was like an apocalypse of salmon. And it was a complete shock to me because I had no idea that happened at that time of year. So for any of those people that really want to see the salmon, I'd highly recommend the September time of year. But also less crowds, and I'm all about less people. Some featured packages that I want to highlight going into 2020. We do have some exciting new packages that Rail Europe will be able to put together for you. And being FIT, all you need to do is tell Rail Europe what you'd like, and they'll be able to organise that for you. The first one I'd like to highlight here is First Passage to the West excursion, which includes our Inside Passage cruise. When you're going on this tour, it is taking you on our most popular train journey, so First Passage to the West. You can either do the train route first, or you can do it afterwards, depending how you want to structure this itinerary together. 85% of people that are traveling on board Rocky Mountaineer are also wanting to do an Inside Passage cruise. You can actually book Holland America through the Great Train Journeys department at Rail Europe with your Rocky Mountaineer booking. If there's some other cruise operators you want to go for, you can book that separately to Rocky Mountaineer. Rainforest to Gold Rush. This for me is a lesser known itinerary, but truly an exciting one to jump on board. First of all, being able to go to Whistler and see this vibrant village during the summertime. Quesnel, an old gold mining town. It is going to give you a different contrasting landscape to the Canadian Rockies, which you'll be seeing on your third day traveling into Jasper. Now, what you'll do on this tour afterwards from Jasper, you'll make your way down to Calgary, going through the Columbian Icefield Parkways, into Lake Louise where you'll stay overnight, onto Banff, and this itinerary even includes a helicopter tour before you finish in Calgary. The Coastal Passage highlights. For someone that is starting in Seattle, as I mentioned, if they're doing an Inside Passage cruise, finishing or starting in Seattle, this is the perfect itinerary. They're going to have the amazing Rocky Mountaineer journey going through to Kamloops into Lake Louise where they have one night. They're able to move on to Banff after that and then going on to Calgary once again with that helicopter tour. Making note, when they're going between these destinations, they are going to be sightseeing tours, so you will be able to see things along the way with a driver guide. For any of those train buffs out there that really want to maximize their time on board the train, we can combine two different train journeys together to create a golden circle. On this particular itinerary, starting in Vancouver, you'll make your way to Kamloops and then onto Lake Louise and Banff on board the First Passage to the West. We'll then organise a sightseeing tour, stopping by the Columbian Icefield, which will take you up to Jasper, where you have a couple of nights there before you board Rainforest to Gold Rush, taking you back to Vancouver. So a complete circle journey going through the Canadian Rockies, maximising your time on board Rocky Mountaineer. I'd also like to highlight the Sonora Resort. Now this is very exciting. We've had this now for 2 years, where you'll be able to sell the Sonora Resort with the Rocky Mountaineer package. It is simply an add-on to any of our packages there. The Great Train Journeys team at Rail Europe will be able to do this for you. It's a 5-star all-inclusive resort. We actually fly you by float plane up to this wilderness resort, as it is that remote. There are many different wildlife experiences you can have around this region, even opting in for a bear expedition. But for anyone that just simply wants to relax and enjoy the wilderness, there's even a spa where you can rejuvenate before you head back home after your trip. We also have 3 exciting towns for the second season that we brought them in, and this is with our self-drive itineraries. Being tailor-made FIT, we do have many different packages for your clients to jump aboard. Now with our FIT self-drive itineraries, we include the train journey, the accommodation, and the car hire. With the one-way fees included, there are only slight few taxes you have to pay for when you arrive there, and everything else is up to you. So for any of those clients that truly want that independent itinerary, the self-drive packages would be ideal for your clients. Canmore is one of the destinations which you can go to. And on board First Passage to the West, Canmore self-drive, just like our other itineraries, the First Passage to the West itinerary is exactly the same, but then when you arrive at Lake Louise, you'll pick up the car hire, when you arrive at Banff, we'll pick up the car hire. And then it's up to you to take you to these destinations, but we've got all the accommodation sorted, so it's complete freedom to see the region how you want to. Sunshine Village, perfect location if you've got clients who are loving the outdoors and hiking through this area here. Just like the other self-drive itinerary, we have First Passage to the West, which will take them through to Banff, where they will collect their car hire. From there, they'll make their way onto Sunshine Village, which is roughly around about 15 minutes or so away. And then everything else is up to them. They've got Lake Louise accommodation and then finishing in Calgary, where they'll leave their car hire at Calgary Airport. Keeping note on all these itineraries, you can go in the opposite direction as well. But my favorite by far, and once again, it could be because I have been on this one, the Kananaskis self-drive. This is where we'll be going once again on First Passage to the West. You'll pick up your car hire in Banff, and then you'll make your way to Kananaskis, which is around about a 40-minute drive from Banff. From there, you'll be welcomed to the Pomeroy Kananaskis Mountain Lodge. Now, this is a 4-star mountain retreat. It's pictured by mountains all around it. There's a stream running through the valley right next to your accommodation. Amazing place to be active and once again, explore the area through hiking. But there is also a Nordic spa where you can sit back, relax in the outdoor elements and enjoy the luxury that the outdoor Nordic spa has to offer. But by far, absolutely my favorite for the self-drive itinerary. And with all of our self-drive itineraries, you can also download the Gypsy app, which is a smartphone app which will give you guided commentary as you drive through Canadian Rockies through GPS. So definitely recommend that to your clients if they are going on a self-drive itinerary. One important fact to note is that if you are doing the self-drive itineraries, it is best for your clients to book that through Rocky Mountaineer, as we've actually contracted these car hire companies to stay open until our train arrives. So should there be a slight delay, you can guarantee that our onboard host will know exactly which guests have hired the cars and will be able to reassure them that there'll be no issue once they arrive at the station. One thing I'd like to highlight as well to ensure that you guys have absolutely everything you need and all the knowledge you need to be able to sell Rocky Mountaineer and promote it in the right light. We have Online Tracks, which is a training platform for you guys to ensure you understand exactly what it is in terms of the onboard experience with Rocky Mountaineer. Not only will you be able to learn in depth about the Rocky Mountaineer experience, but it also opens up travel agent discounts of up to 50% throughout the season, and also makes you eligible to go onto our learning journeys. This is truly something I would highly recommend for everyone to do, because once you have done this, you become a Rocky Mountaineer specialist, and you can promote this out to your clients as well. It is an area where we can also update you on anything that is new. Inside Track's newsletter is something also that I'd highly recommend signing up to. This means all the promotions will be sent out to you. You'll also be able to understand updates that are coming through. So we are updating our promotions, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. And that is an example of something we could send out to you, so you're in the know before you start talking about Rocky Mountaineer. The biggest thing though, with our promotions going into 2020, we have made a bit of a change. Previously, we had credits, which you could use to spend on multiple things to add onto a package, depending on how long the duration of trip was. We decided to change it around a bit and make it a little bit easier for you guys to communicate the promotions to your clients. So how it will work now is at the start of the season, we'll have 4 free things that you can add to a booking. And the closer you get to the travel season, the less you can add on. So it'll go 4, 3, 2, and then 1. These are things that you can communicate to your clients as free things they can add on to add value to the package. So for example, currently we're at the Unforgettable 4. This is where you've got 2 free hotel nights, 1 free private transfer, and 1 free dinner. The Great Train Journeys team at RAL Europe will easily be able to add that onto your package and communicate to you the best value and best time to add those things on as well. At the moment, as I mentioned, we do have the Unforgettable 4. It's 8+ days duration. But if you do have clients that are doing a journey that's 5 to 7 days, they can have 2 free add-ons as well. Once again, your Great Train Journeys team will be able to help you out with that and organize those free add-ons for your clients to ensure they have the best experience out there. Thank you very much for attending this webinar today. It's been great to give you a brief update on board Rocky Mountaineer. Really hope that it's helped you in terms of promoting Rocky Mountaineer within your store to your clients. And make sure you do sign up to Tracks, because this really will give you more knowledge than what I can give you today. And if you do have any questions right now, please feel free to send them through. We'll be here for another 5 minutes or so to answer those questions for you. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, once again for attending this webinar today with Great Train Journeys team with RAL Europe. Thank you for enjoying this time with us. I hope you had fun. I enjoyed talking to you guys about all things Rocky Mountaineer for 2020. If you ever need any help whatsoever, the great train journeys, Rail Europe, BDMs out on the road are there to help you, and they're always connected to me. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and I'm always there to support them as well. So thank you for your time, everyone.